Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. If you like what you're hearing, hit the subscribe button, give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
You're listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net. This is the Hockey Betting Preview for Wednesday, February 26th and Thursday, February 27th, 2020. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing.
All right, kids, here we go. It's Hump Day, the Hockey Betting Podcast. 3 games on the menu tonight. Army of games coming tomorrow. Racing towards the weekend post-NHL trade deadline. First night out of the gate, we're seeing some of these new players have a massive impact. Anthony Ciu and Ennis playing on the line with McDavid. They had some highlight reel stuff. We got a lot to talk about. Brian Blessing in Las Vegas. Cam Stewart. We've basically decided that we're just going to assign him all of Canada.
Canada. I like that. I like that. Yeah, all of Canada. I'll tell you, Brian, you'd be seeing my ugly mug pretty soon if the Edmonton Oilers would have found a way. Unbelievable night. Almost swept the board. It was just crazy. Dallas, we smashed. I even took a shot with the Leafs, plus 165. Angry team coming off embarrassing losses versus Zamboni driver. And that's the thing, right? Like, we got to be on top of this goaltender situation with Carolina's injuries. But I'll tell you, buddy, you'd be seeing me in Vegas pretty soon if I would have swept the board and clipped that monster parlay, a 6-banger. It would have been another vacation, buddy. Well, but hey, plus units are good units.
Oh, yesterday, honestly, I mean, at the end of the day, we're getting a little love on Twitter, thanks to those of you that are out there listening. At the end of the day, the 3 I saddled up to went flat on all of them. Actually said, you know what, let's give it the old college try. Even hooked them up in a parlay. We got a couple goals late in the Calgary-Boston game to get it over. Vancouver certainly needed the game, got the win at Montreal. But the one, Cam, that I'm telling you, we've kind of identified, and is Minnesota is a sneaky over team. The Columbus Minnesota game over 5.5 was a cupcake, and Minnesota's an over team, bud. Let's just cut to the chase.
Oh yeah, big time. And the butcher was cutting a lot of salami logs last night. We got 6-5
Cam's cuts.
I love Cam's cuts. Yeah, Cam's cuts. Great first week at Cam's Cuts, Brian. I don't know. I might have to expand after 1 week. I need a new blade for the meat cutter, man. Just cutting. We got everything at Cam's Cuts. Yeah, salami's a popular item. It's over. People are really, really buying it these days. I couldn't believe some of the scores. It was crazy stuff.
All right, so great. Hey, we had a killer day. We've had a killer month. I mean, all right, but you know what? Doesn't mean a damn thing.
You're damn right.
It means what's happening today. Mm-hmm. So there's only 3 of them, and I'm not doing a cartwheel about any of the 3.
Me neither.
But let's start with Buffalo at Colorado. The Avs are a mash unit, laying 210. Total on the game is 6. Colorado's got an army of guys that are out. They own Buffalo, for starters. Let's just say that.
They do.
Wayne Simmons makes his debut tonight. I don't believe the new kid, Dominic Cahoon, is going to go that they got from Pittsburgh. He may make his debut Friday in Vegas. But Buffalo's desperate. I'm telling you, I'd have had a different opinion here. If Toronto had lost to Tampa Bay, Buffalo had 2 in hand, could have cut their lead with a couple of wins to within 2 of the Leafs. But Buffalo now, cornered rat, they cannot afford to lose. They got to get a split in the next 2 games. Total on this game is 6. The one thing I would say to you, bud, Rancouz was the NHL Player of the Week, and it's going to be Carter Hutton. If I had to do anything, I'd probably lean over the total.
I don't even know if I'm going to go on the total, but I'm going to tell you this, Brian. I'm not going to play as hard units, but I'm looking at maybe a potentially 2 dogs winning outright tonight, and I think Buffalo we got to give them a long, hard look at plus 175. Sure, Colorado's playing okay, but yeah, you said it. Injuries are catching up. You have a team with a little bit of confidence after beating Pittsburgh. Maybe they show up in this game. That's the thing about Buffalo. They got to run the table, so you're right, though, but that leads to goals. So maybe the defenseman pinching, taking a few more chances, And if Hutton, if they got breakaways and 2-on-1s against Hutton, that's usually a recipe for an over. But I'm telling you, Buffalo's going to score a few, I think, even though Francouz is a very, very good tender. I'm seeing an inflated price here. The Sabres might make my card with the over here. I don't like the card, but that's my initial lean. I think the dog has a chance in this game.
Yeah, I'll root for you, buddy. I'm honestly, I think there's nothing wrong with putting your feet up with 3 games and diving into Thursday. I'll just throw this at you. And you're right. It's I said it. I mean, all these guys that are hurt. But here's the bad news. All right, the Avs have won the last 4 games, outscoring the Sabres 20-6. The count in the last 3 games, according to our friend Mike Harrington from the Buffalo News, is going to be joining me Friday on my radio show here in Vegas. The last 3 games, Colorado's outscored them 15-2. This year, Colorado beat them 6-1. In Buffalo, the Sabres are 3-11-4 against the Avs since 2006. This is like Buffalo owns San Jose. Colorado owns Buffalo. Believe me, the Sabres are 7-3-1 in their last 11, but the Avs have won 3 in a row. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm on the sidelines.
It's like Pittsburgh, the way they dummy the Leafs, and then the Leafs, after bad performances, came and beat them 4-0. You never know. Like, Buffalo knows their track record against these guys. They're a desperate team. I'm just saying, I'm not laying 210 with Colorado. For me, it's Buffalo or nothing.
Okay, buddy. You're hitching that wagon to Carter Hutton. That's all.
Oh, I know. It's a recipe for disaster. That's the difference between me and you, Brian. Like, you've seen me on the blackjack table and stuff. Sometimes beep, 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 the carnival song in my head. I just see the plus money. Give it to me.
Double down.
Yeah, it's crazy. I win when I'm getting dealt 12s, and I got an 11 against a 5, and I lose most of the time. Hey, some things in life don't make sense, like taking the Sabres against the Avalanche. But you're right. It's a passable game. Lean to the over.
All right, Pittsburgh is at L.A., and you're laying a balloon number here.
Pittsburgh's going to kill them.
You know what? Well, thank you. I mean, I was going to say I'm probably going to go Pittsburgh on the puck line. If I dove in, they have lost 3 games in a row. They'll get Sheary and Rodriguez. You know, it's not changing your mind on the game, but they're molding their bottom 3. But Crosby, Malkin are playing well, but the team's kind of hit the skids. Yari's been getting lit up a little bit of late, but it's Pittsburgh starting a 3-game swing, wants to get it off to a good start. It'd be Pittsburgh on the puck line for me, if anything.
I agree. I think I'm going to take Pittsburgh and rag, and I'm going to take them on the puck line. I got to give the Kings a lot of credit. They've been battling in their games. They got a lot of good players that they've called up. They got a nice little minor league system with some studs there, but Pittsburgh understands we can't be screwing around anymore. This is too good of a team to lose 4 games in a row. LA's still one of the worst teams going. $2 is actually respectable, and I prefer to take them. If it was in Pittsburgh, Brian, we'd probably be laying 320 or 340 in this game. So it's not as bad as people think. If you want a dance partner on the parlay card, you can find somebody, but I'm on Pittsburgh regulation and parlayed, and I think we might even get the 6 goals. I think Pittsburgh explodes tonight.
All right, I definitely. There's only one way to play this. There's something telling me maybe not so fast, but Vegas is first of all, this number's insane. Vegas is laying 220 because Edmonton played in Anaheim last night. Okay, so it's all baked in the cake here. The total in the game is 6.5. I would have to say, the way Vegas is going, I would lean over the total. Watching last night, McDavid, Athanasiou, and Ennis, the 2 new guys. Here, let's ease you into the lineup. Let's just throw you on a line with McDavid. They scored a highlight reel goal. It was a tic-tac-toe beauty that Ennis scored. But Athanasiou and McDavid, the 2 fastest guys in the league, if this continues on the same line, I believe Fleury gets the start tonight. We'll see what they do with Robin Lehner, if they roll him out against Buffalo Friday or wait till the weekend against L.A. and then New Jersey. I think and Vegas is creating chances in droves. The one thing Vegas does struggle with, though, Cam, is speed.
I agree.
So I would have to say over 6.5 would be the absolute way I would play this, but I'm not shooting flares into the sky. Only 3 games tonight, but this would probably, of the 3, I guess I would say Edmonton Vegas over is probably maybe the best of the lot.
Brian,
Oh, no. Calm down, boy. Calm down.
What? Oh, what, Sparky?
Calm down.
Oh, Sparky loves Edmonton tonight. My big dog. I'm telling you, team losing a game they could have beat Anaheim in, getting 90 cents in Vegas. Vegas playing great. Brian, here, it's coming down. I'm putting my foot down.
Calm down, boy.
I'm just telling you, buddy. I think Edmonton is a live dog tonight. We're almost getting 2-1. Vegas is an amazing team, taking nothing away from them. And if Edmonton wins, the game will go over the number. But I'm making Edmonton my super duper dog with rabies, 3-legged pooch of the night at plus 190. I am betting Edmonton tonight.
Oh, by the way, when the number is inflated because it's Vegas, right? But Edmonton, if they win the game tonight, they're tied with Vegas for first place. This is a first place showdown, and the dog is plus $1.75.
Hey, Vegas, they're damn good. They're on a heater. The way they play against Tampa Bay, they've looked fantastic. The offense is there. But Edmonton, after losing that game against the Ducks, it's going to have their full effort. Another game with the new players under their wing, Brian. This should be a classic game today. I see, like a 5-4 hockey game. It's going to be a lot of action. It's going to be probably one of the best games of the year to watch with the speed. And I think Edmonton is getting no respect here. So you know what? Sometimes you have to put a line in the sand and say, I'm taking this dog. I think they can win the game, and I'll be taking them in regulation to plus money, and I'll take them with the big bomb at plus 190 on the money line, friend.
Yeah. Well, hey, I can't fault that. And the funny thing is now, and we'll move on from this, but Fleury's sitting here with Leonard over his shoulder.
Yeah,
it's a weird dynamic here, and I think Vegas's belief is, well, I mean, you tell me, bud. Can you win the doing the Leafs thing? Can you win a cup playing 5-4 games all the time? At some point, Vegas got to start playing 3-1 games.
I agree with that. No, it works for the regular season. Talk to the Tampa Bay Lightning, right? They played that style, and then boom. The first game with Carolina came back and won that game. It kind of rattled their cage, and after that, they were sitting ducks. It's very dangerous. You're right, Brian. Hey, you're still going to have those games, those classic Vegas San Jose games. There's a lot of shootouts in them. They're blowing off the barn. But I will say, yes, eventually, you're going to run into a team like Dallas that wants to beat you 2-1, and you have to learn how to win both ways. And right now, Vegas just is winning to the over. They still have to tighten up their defense and not rely on Fleury to stand on his head all the time.
All right, and before we move on to Thursday, I want to thank our friends at BetChrisCanada.net, sponsoring this show, Cammie. It's getting some Twitter love. The listenership starting to grow, and I have a treat doing this with you. It's a lot of fun. I want to thank the folks at BetChris Canada, man. We're having fun.
We are, man. Everything's great. Hopefully we continue to give the winners, buddy. And, tell your family, tell your friends, instead of playing, the provincial lottery where you have to hit a 3-game parlay, Brian and I will break it down game by game. And hopefully, you could pad those wallets and come visit Brian in Vegas and say hi to him there at the local casinos, which I intend on doing.
Kim, can we come to this consensus that we're dumb, but we ain't stupid?
Yes, I think that's fair.
All right. How about the game? All right, the game Saturday night, the Zamboni driver.
Yes.
And we said, look out, Carolina, for a letdown.
Mm-hmm.
And we said the Leafs were mortifiably embarrassed.
They were.
And the Leafs come back and beat the Lightning. Isn't it amazing?
The pride of hockey players.
Well, one game, it's almost like regardless of the number or who the teams are, there are just so many things that are just such common sense things.
Yeah.
It was a letdown for Carolina.
Think about it. The only time I've won with the Leafs, Brian, and I put them in parlays and I try to be, I've been a fan of the team since I was a kid, but they've let me down a lot. But the 2 games that I drew a line in the sand were the Pittsburgh game. After the embarrassing loss in Pittsburgh, they come back and win 4-0. The Zamboni driver, 42-year-old, missing a kidney. Couldn't get worse for Leafs. Like, everybody, just get rid of these guys. They're horrible. And I watched that Tampa Bay game start to finish. They dominated the Lightning in that game. They could have won that game by even more goals. They played great. Tampa Bay came back at the end. They had a flurry, but at the start of that game, Toronto all over them. Who knows how they're going to react, though, right? That's the thing about these guys.
Okay.
They play great, and then who knows?
That's exactly right. So here we go to the Rubik's Cube. Yep. That is Thursday. Let's just be with those teams. Tampa Bay comes off that defeat, laying 215 to Chicago, the total 6.5 to the over. Chicago, playing a crazy game, high-scoring game with their rival St. Louis. Now going to Tampa Bay, who's coming off a loss. And, oh, by the way, you got Gaudreau settling in and Coleman, Bogosian, nice going. The guy comes in. I don't know what they're thinking. They give the guy $1.3 million. He comes in. I think he was -2 and denutted a teammate with a slap shot.
It's amazing, Brian, and you get to see these guys in Buffalo, Bogosian, and
oh my God,
and all the other guys. Scandella. It's like, get rid. Like,
do the Lightning have scouts?
Yeah, I know. You want them? Have them. I will say this about the Blackhawks: they're in big trouble in this game. Tampa Bay -1.5, parlayed, whatever you want to do. After that performance against the Leafs, with the Blackhawks rolling into town, Tampa Bay is probably going to win this game, Brian, about 6-2, 6-3. I think they're going to murder these guys. Probably goes over the number, too. Tampa Bay might get 6 themselves.
All right. I honestly, I know what I want to do here, but I'm not going to do it. It's Florida's first game home from a long road trip. I actually, gutted out a low-scoring win at Arizona kind of on their trip. They come back. But this is the monster game here in the Atlantic, and I don't know. It's in Toronto, 15 cents at Florida. We know our angle. Fade the team coming home. But Muzzin breaks his hand. He's out a month. You know what? I'm sorry. I know what I'm doing. Because I just don't, one night to the next, trust in Toronto. I don't know what to do. But honestly, shouldn't this total be 7?
It might be. It's 6.5 right now. By the time of broadcast, it could be 7.
Go over the total. How do you not play the over here?
Well, you saw what happened in that Tampa Bay Toronto game, right, Brian? It was 6.5, the overnight line, when I was doing my show late night in game live when I was doing my betting show, and then it was 7. I'm like, no, and then it went down to 6.5 again. So I expect the exact same thing to happen in this game with the fluctuations of the line. It'll probably be 6.5 with 30 cents to the over on the juice. That's my prediction. And I'll tell you, I'm not taking the Leafs this game. I'm just going to leave it alone, probably go on the over. Muzzin was the best Leafs defenseman. He's been playing great, too. This is an absolute nightmare. Florida, you never know what you're going to get with them. Hey, I was on those Cats against Arizona, Brian. Dogs and cats. My pet kennel was very, let's just say they got some good quality cuts from Cam's Cuts last night. I wasn't feeding them kibbles and bits. They got some real food. I don't know what to do in this game, man. It's tough. I guess you just go on the over and hope for a shinny-style game because these two teams cannot be trusted. Florida can't be trusted, and Toronto can't be trusted.
I'm going to throw one at you, my friend. To think about it, like the big stage and usually the big spotlight.
Yep.
The team flying under the radar in the NHL is the New York Rangers.
Oh, I've been making money with these guys for
They've won 4 in a row. They're within awesome. 2 points of making the playoffs.
And Montreal's laying 30 cents. You can already sign me up with the New York Rangers plus 115. I love them. It doesn't. This team, they play the Islanders. Man, they've been great. I really respect the Rangers. And what is the best bet with the Rangers? We talk about it on every show, Brian. Road underdogs. That's when you play the Rangers. But I can't stop. It's like we're at the roulette wheel, buddy. Our number keeps on popping up. We're having a great time. And you know what? We're not leaving till it changes. Give me the New York Rangers against Montreal. You got it.
By the way, forgive me to be factually correct. We're looking at the Rangers 4 points behind the Blue Jackets for the last wild card.
Blue Jackets are fading like a cheap dude too, right?
Buddy, the Rangers have 3 games in hand on Columbus.
Oh, and
Columbus is in trouble.
Columbus is in big trouble, man. You watch that team. They're hanging
they should not have beaten Ottawa.
No, they shouldn't have. They're hanging on by a thread. They're lucky to beat Ottawa. They're fade material down the stretch where the Rangers, I think they believe. And think about it. Not getting rid of Kreider and all this stuff has galvanized the team, man. This is a team that's focused. I would not want to play the New York Rangers. They're deadly. I love them against Montreal.
All right. I'm not playing it. Maybe in a fun wacko, just to take a little flyer with a big 5 or 6 teamer just for giggles or something, but it's not making my card. But Boston laying $1.60, the total's 5.5. If you're talking Bishop and Rasker, what's the difference with Halak? You'd have to play under, if anything, to me, but I'm not going near it.
I'm going to tell you something. Dallas has been a nice dog for me. We picked the right spot against Carolina. Boston losing to Calgary, Dallas is in big trouble this game. I think Boston at home, they're feeling it. Dallas, hey, we got some points. I'll take Boston in regulation. I might take the -1.5. I like the Bruins to beat the Stars by 2 goals plus, Brian.
All right, another one I'm staying away from. I don't know, buddy. It's like the old vaudeville act. Well, you would have been great in vaudeville. Your act would have, some guy with the cane and the cap and the big mustache. Hey, but here he is.
It's you with the cane around my neck.
No, I'd be there with the big hook to get you off the stage.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Yeah,
you get the cane, the hook, and get this turkey off the set.
Well, all right. So the Three Stooges prop for this game would be: is there a big trap door waiting for Vancouver at Ottawa, laying 30 cents?
Could be. As we speak, the line just popped up to 40. I guess people can. You got the next day's card are already betting it. Be careful, people. I'm not going to touch this game, but I wouldn't touch Vancouver with a 10-foot pole. They had, issues with Montreal in that game with Demko playing goal too. It's interesting. Actually, you know what's going to happen in this game, Brian? The over is the play in this game. Vancouver plays to overs with their backup goaltender. Ottawa will still score on Demko. I don't love it, but I would play the over, and I'd be very, very careful of Vancouver. Probably going to lay off that game.
All right, Minnesota, we said at the beginning, so we can't run away from this. They beat Detroit a few weeks ago, 4-2.
Detroit's a dog's breakfast. They're.
No, I know, but no, forget the side. I mean, you're Minnesota laying $2, but the only problem is, Bernier's played pretty well here. You got to give the guy full marks, but the way Minnesota plays, I mean, I've seen them in person. It's like it's up and down. It's nuts. And defensively, they're not good enough to play that way. But they're hanging in there. But yeah. To me, the safer way to go on them is playing games over. But it's not one of the best. Not one of the best.
I'm going to pass on this game because I think Minnesota could win 4-1. I don't trust Detroit scoring 2 goals in this game. That's the problem. These guys get, get shut out against New Jersey? Are you kidding me? At home? Like, this team has tapped out. I like Minnesota. Obviously, it's $2 as parlay material or puck line material. So I'm not touching the total. I would lean over, Brian, because you're right. Minnesota, don't believe that, people still think they're a 2-1 type of hockey team. That ship has sailed. I like Minnesota. I would probably lean over in this game, but I'm not touching it because I don't trust Detroit.
Stay away. I will. You know what, buddy? Oh, boy. Jeez.
What?
The games are about to change. I mean, they are. And teams are going to start protecting the point.
I agree.
But that being said, I think it's time. As far down the line as we're going here, I think it's time. You got your cell phone?
Yes.
Call the butcher.
Oh, call the butcher.
Call the butcher. Come on.
I'm the butcher. I'm the butcher now.
Oh, no, you don't. No. You don't have your Jim Popeil diploma yet.
Isn't it Ron Popeil?
I don't know. You're an unpaid intern.
I actually really wanted to buy a meat slicer, but they're more expensive than you think. But
salami. Listen, Calgary just cashed again with the over in the Boston. Calgary, Cammie, 8-0-1 over in their last 9 games. 8-0-1.
No, it's stupid because they don't get goaltending. They score goals. They're streaky. Yeah, you've seen the Boston, and it happens in bunches, right, Brian? Remember the first game against Boston was 3-2, 4 minutes into the game. And then the other game, they scored bunches again. I'll tell you something, too. Nashville's fraudulent. They could have lost that game to Ottawa. Like, I don't know. We've been waiting for this team to get better. No, sorry. I was expecting them to be a bit of a dark horse. No, sorry, Predators. You're a team on the decline. I would actually look at call the butcher. I think Calgary might be live at +112. I'm probably going to lay off this game and just take the over. Yeah, we'll take the over in this game. I don't trust Nashville as a favorite, Brian. Can't.
All right, this is one of the weirdest anomalies. How rare is this? And now we got a bunch of angles that are in play. Washington and Winnipeg out of conference games playing a home and home. That's nuts. You never see that. Yep. Winnipeg gave them a good tussle, lost the game 4-3 at Washington. But you know what, buddy? At first I was saying, oh, yeah, they come back and, they'll get revenge. And I'm like, wait a minute, kid. You got Winnipeg first game home from a long road trip, and Washington, and that's only a 2-game hop. But first game home against for Winnipeg, we faded that all year long. I hate laying the 45.
I'd do it.
Could you puck line it? I mean, that'd be plus $2.
It would be. It'd be minus 1.5 plus $1.90, or you could take them in regulation, probably to even money if you don't want to, or plus 105 if you don't want to lay the 45 cents. I like Washington in this spot. I think Winnipeg's one of those teams too. When they come back from a break, it's a huge fan base. You know what I mean? Like just everything about the team. I think this team prefers to be on the road sometimes, even though the fans in Winnipeg are fantastic. It's a lot of stress coming back. I like Washington in this spot. It's just, to me, it's a reasonable price, and I don't mind laying 40 cents if we're going to get a W. So I think the Capitals are the right side here, Brian.
Islanders, St. Louis laying $1.55. I would probably, the butcher can't be slicing all day long. I think a lower scoring game here.
Could be. I'm also looking at the dog. I think the Islanders coming off that loss against the Rangers will be multi-focused. Another game with Pajot under the belt. St. Louis has been playing with fire. Sure, you beat Chicago. You gave up 5 goals in that game. They're minus 160. The Islanders look pretty damn juicy to me. It's not going to be a huge play, but I got to take a shot with the dog in that situation. The Islanders know, too. Other teams in the East with this playoff chase, nothing's over till it's over, Brian. I got to take a shot with these guys. I think Barry Trotz will have them ready to go on the road. I'm getting 30 cents. I like the Islanders.
All right. I think I know you pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to overcome those thoughts a lot, but I know what you're doing here. You're playing New Jersey. San Jose's $1.60 at home. San Jose has lost 5 in a row. First game home from a cross-country road trip, and Jersey has won 3 in a row. 2 teams going opposite directions. The only thing I would say here, Jersey gets a lead in here. San Jose's going to be getting booed off the ice if they get down.
That's what I worry about in this game. I know all the factors that we play, team coming back from road trip, but this is it. San Jose, they've traded all their assets. Joe Thornton wish he could have gone to contender. It's just a bad vibe at the Shark Tank right now. And that's the thing. New Jersey, they've been playing great, and they've been playing defensively better hockey. That's the thing too. I would actually take a look at the under in this game, Brian. I don't see a lot of goals here. I think San Jose is one of those teams that, they're going to have some offensive problems. Look at all the guys they got rid of. And New Jersey, they've been playing defensive hockey, right, against Detroit. I like the under, and I lean Devils, but you're right. Be wary of this game. It's not going to be a high-unit play because SJ Sharkey, the fans are going to turn on this team quick, and they might give an effort, but how do you lay 60 cents with the Sharks? You don't.
I will tell you this. A lot of games, but a pretty tough board in summation. I would think on Thursday, of the games that are there, provided it stays 6.5, Toronto, Florida over. By the way, the one thing we didn't mention, the Leafs fans will take over that building.
Oh, definitely.
That's a home game for Toronto. Yeah,
it is a home game for Toronto. It's hard to win both games, O'Brien, as you know. When you beat Tampa Bay coming back to Florida, that's another thing that we've known betting hockey for years. When you win Tampa Bay, it's kind of let's get out the golf clubs. We're playing Florida, but you can't be doing that because both of these teams are fighting for a playoff spot. But who the hell knows with the Leafs?
Well, we've got conflicting angles. We got conflicting angles in play, though, for the side. It's a home game for the Leafs. Florida's first game. Actually, to be honest with you, everything points to the Leafs, to be honest. But I don't trust them.
I agree.
All right? So I do trust that they can't play any way other than the way they play. And, by the way, Muzzin is not there. I like the game over the total. And then Calgary, Nashville, 8-0-1. It's going to calm down at some point. But ride it while it's hot. Calgary's scoring, and they're pretty rugged in their own end, so I go Calgary, Nashville over. And the funny thing is, too, perception-wise with Nashville, you might get a deflated total here. They might make the mistake of making this game 6.
I don't think they will. I think they'll make it 6.5 because they have to post a bigger number with the way Calgary's playing overs right now, Brian. It's crazy.
All right, Sparky. Now we got to get a budget. We got to get
for a dog.
No, we got to get the parlay song. Now we got to get vaudeville music.
Yeah.
It's
Hey, if we keep on giving winners, maybe Mike will spring for some tunes. How's that sound?
Oh, don't get Mike started. Leave Mike alone.
Brian, how is your Ethernet cable? It's all good. Actually, your Wi-Fi's pretty good today, buddy.
It's funny. He does do that. Say that for me one more time.
Brian, do you need an Ethernet cable?
Okay. The fact is, he doesn't. The topic. In my head, that's what he sounds like. He doesn't say it like that.
No, he doesn't.
But when the techno geek comes to play, that's all right.
Mike, you can send me some free equipment, buddy. I'll take anything you give me. Please, right. If it's free, mail it out.
FREE. All right, let's go. Good luck. There you have it. The Hockey Betting Podcast. Always a chuckle or two with our good friend Cam Stewart. I'm Brian Blessing in Las Vegas. He has taken over the country up north. Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. Hey, we hope you like what you're hearing. And if you do, hit the subscribe button and give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction, as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At BetChrisCanada.net and the Hockey Betting Podcast, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling, an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling. And do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.